Okay, Korean spinach. This is how you make it. Make sure you pick fresh spinach. You look at the root of the spinach. Wash it clean. So you have to rinse off the soil at the root. Okay, one by one, because all the soil is stuck at the root and maybe caught between each piece of the spinach. So if you soak it now, the soil just gets stuck onto the next spinach leaf. So it's very, very important that you flush it with clean water. Wash it one by one. Once you've done that, then you can, so you see, you can then put it in a vat and then soak it. Okay. You don't have to do that. I think that's a little dangerous, knife work. What you can do is just use a scissors if you're not good with knife and just cut off the ends. And then you just cut it in the middle, because the US spinach grows like the sequoia forest. It's huge. So I think it's important for you to split a bunch of spinach into either 3s or 2s or 3s, depending on how big that bunch of spinach look like. Then boiling water, put a little bit of salt in it, and then stick the spinach in kind of stem down.
That's okay.
And when the leaf turns dark green, which is very quickly, then you have to turn it into low heat, okay, after the water boils. Because the point is not to cook the spinach so it's very, very done. You want it just cooked so that you don't get the mushiness. On the side, you want to prepare a bowl with water in it so you can cool off the spinach, because later you have to squeeze water out of it. Alright, so I would suggest, depending on the thickness of your spinach, it should be only around maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Then you got to take it out. Alright? If you don't have a strainer, don't worry about it. Just fish your spinach out of the pot and then put it in the water. You do that for all of the spinach that you're making. Then what you need to do is put it in your colander and then run it under the faucet. Make sure your sink is clean, because what you don't want is if somebody used the sink beforehand, especially meat and poultry, you can get salmonella poisoning. So you might want to use a sponge and put some dishwashing detergent on it and wash your sink, scrub your sink carefully and rinse it before you start to make the spinach dish. Okay, so what you do now is just take the spinach and just squeeze the water out like a sponge. Roll it into a ball, squeeze, so you see all that water coming out. Of course, you want to make sure that you rinse the spinach enough so that the spinach already cooled down. Okay, do that for all of it. Then it's in a ball, and what you can do is use your kitchen scissor and just cut it in half. Now, if your spinach is huge, like the American spinach that you get from the supermarket, you might want to cut it into thirds. Okay? So now we can season. You can use Korean or Japanese sesame oil. Okay. Put about, I would say, 1 big tablespoon first. And then also 1 big tablespoon of soy sauce. Some fish powder. And if you have white sesame seed, you want to put that in also. Now, if you have food prep gloves, like if you buy some from like Target, use your food prep gloves because it will be oily. So when you're like mixing the spinach with all the seasoning, your hand won't smell like sesame oil for the rest of the day. All right. So what you do is just loosen the balls of spinach. Okay. Make sure all the seasoning get on the spinach. And then what I usually do is just kind of after you mix it, you think it's thoroughly mixed with the seasoning, just taste it. And if it doesn't taste, if there's not enough salt, of course you put in a little bit more soy sauce, or it doesn't have enough sesame oil, you do that as well. Okay, that's it.